Welcome to Mental as Anyone.
I didn't know I'd be sitting here in a wig talking about mental health. Because anybody who's tuning in is going, yeah, this bitch got the answer.
I'm your host, JMO, and in this series we explore mental health.
If this is what life's going to be, I don't want to be here.
The battles, the triumphs, and the strategies to deal with mental health in a healthy way.
We are born and we are just told stories upon stories upon stories about how to live our life, and no one knows.
I'm the first to know that's not easy, having battled on my own journey. Now, I'll be speaking with others who are ready to share their own insights and lessons.
You know, you try to bury it, keep busy, and then all of a sudden it just swallows you whole.
This podcast is specifically designed to support you on your own journey. So join me as we learn together that we are mental as anyone.
You're out there, and every night you have to prove that you deserve to be there.
BYD isn't just powering this podcast. For nearly 3 years, it's been redefining the way I drive. It brings me peace of mind. I just charge it at home, no more detours to the petrol station. And the way it drives, so smooth and has instant power when you need it. It's got all the space, all the tech, and I feel good knowing it's better for the environment too. If you're even a little bit curious, check out the links in the show notes, and thanks BYD for helping bring Mental as Anyone to life. This episode is proudly brought to you by Chemist Warehouse, your go-to destination for all things health and well-being. From essential vitamins and supplements to skincare and fitness products, Chemist Warehouse offers everything you need to stay balanced and healthy. Plus, they're committed to supporting your health journey with affordable, high-quality products. Visit chemistwarehouse.com.au to explore their extensive range and take your next step in your well-being. She's an author. She's an actor, she's a reality TV star, which I'm sure would make her cringe, podcaster, radio host, Samantha Frost.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on Mental as Anyone. Sam, I've been nagging you. You're also a dear friend. I've been nagging you for a long time to come on here, and you've always said yes, but it's just a matter of getting the timing right because we're based in different cities.
That's right. I'm so glad we finally could make it happen. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I get so nervous.
You do. I'm curious about that because you're so you've achieved so much, but you do get very nervous.
Yeah.
What makes you nervous?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like sometimes I don't answer the door if I see the postie there because I'm like, nah. What if you ask me a question? I don't know what he's going to say.
Really?
Yeah, I hide. If anyone knocks on my door, I'm hiding.
No.
Those poor kids at Halloween, I'm like, I'm not answering. I seriously don't. I don't like the unknown. So that's why I have a career in radio and television. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
At all?
Here I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said offline that you get nervous that you might say too much and then regret it later and things like that because you've obviously with me you would feel comfortable because we're mates. Is that the case? I do the same thing.
Absolutely. And I think, and also because especially in these spaces, you become so vulnerable and you share a lot. And then afterwards, upon reflection, you think, oh God, I shared a lot and that's a lot of myself. And also I think there's an element of it that I think, how can this be taken out of context? How can this be twisted and used against me? I often think that. So yeah, it's a combination of a couple of things.
Yeah, because you've had, and we're both in the media. You've had times where you've had to cop bad headlines, and I wasn't going to go down that path, but and I don't really want to, and we won't. But that's not easy to receive. That negativity is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why it makes me a bit apprehensive to do these sorts of things.
Yeah, because it is vulnerable.
Yeah.
Your fame journey started whatever year that was. And
2014.
2014, so 10 years.
10 years ago.
And you applied, you made it through, and you made it up to the back end. You really followed through and you were on The Bachelor.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor naive Sam. I was so young. And now I often think about what was I thinking? I think about that all the time in terms of things that I said, things that I did. I'm like, honestly, I don't know what was going through my brain. At the time, I had very pure intentions of being, so excited to have the possibility to date like the most eligible man in Australia. And I was so excited for that. And I was like, wow. Because I always thought like if I was put in front of an amazing guy, I could win him over. I was pretty confident with that. And then anyway, and then when you take me out of my small town, suddenly I'm not as confident. And I'm very like vulnerable and naive. And I just thought, I don't know what I was thinking. But at the time, it was before the days of when reality TV really blew up. It didn't.
That style of reality TV.
Yeah, it didn't. Like there was only one other season of The Bachelor beforehand, which was Tim and Anna. And yeah, it just wasn't what it is now. And so I think that I'm glad that I had that experience at that time because I don't think producers have genuine intentions anymore. I felt like they did at the time, and I still think that. I tell myself that anyway.
I mean, it's still got to make good TV, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you got to be entertaining and people have to watch it, but I think there is an element of it that I think at the time they were wanting a genuine love story. And then they realized, I think after our season when it blew up and it all went to hell, they went, oh, actually, this gets better ratings. This is more interesting. So then I think they kind of started messing with the program.
Then you did The Bachelorette?
Then I did The Bachelorette.
So you went back for more?
I know. I'm insane. It was actually funny because I had a meeting with the heads of Shine, who were the production company, and they wanted to talk to me about doing The Bachelorette. And there was a headline the day before that was, I actually think it was in the Telegraph, and it said, I couldn't think of anything worse than doing The Bachelorette. And then I went in for a meeting. They called me and they're like, we saw the headline. And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. And they're like, well, we still want you to do it. What do you think? And then it took me a really long time to decide to do The Bachelorette. I had a meeting with the EP who is still a friend of mine. She's a female EP and I felt like that was a nice, I really connected with her. I think she had a lot of empathy, genuine empathy. And she was honest. She's like, we need to make great telly, but I do genuinely want you to have a great story. So, yeah, she was amazing and I trusted her. So, that made me sign up for it, I think, meeting her.
Do you regret it?
No. I mean, how can I? I wouldn't have been able to have the career that I've had I not had that experience. So I regret things I've said. I regret things I've done, but I can't regret doing something like that because then I would never have had the job on radio and I never would have got the job on Home and Away, and everything that I've achieved in my career is because I did the Bachelor and Bachelorette. So I have to be grateful for that.
I don't even remember what you were doing before.
I worked in finance. How boring.
Karen from finance.
Yeah, seriously. It doesn't suit me at all.
So then from there you went to breakfast radio. You hosted with the gorgeous Rove.
Yes.
Which was a baptism of fire. That was ruthless and brutal as well because like going into breakfast radio is insane.
Insane. And I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, I worked for Today FM and they are still rotating their breakfast show constantly. So it makes, at least it's like validating to know that it wasn't just me. Because at the time, I was obviously so excited and I copped it a lot because people were like, she hasn't had any radio experience. And I understand that, but I was like, I got offered this job. I'm going to take the opportunity and just try to do the best that I can do. And that's all and the money was pretty good as well. I was like, how much? All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was an interesting experience.
I remember you at the time, we were at an event fashion event, I think, at the Art Gallery of New South Wales, and you felt a bit like a deer stuck in headlights.
Mate.
It was like,
yeah,
what am I doing? Like breakfast radio is like prime time. That's like TV prime time, like a Hollywood movie role. And, everyone wanted a piece of you. You've been on the biggest shows on TV. You're now doing this. You're going up against the other biggest names in the business. And you're just Sam. And in your head, knowing you as well as I do now, not knowing you as well then, you were just like, holy shit, what am I doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a really overwhelming experience. And I actually remember the first day I went on there, I actually am quite dyslexic. And at the time, like if you give me a piece of paper and I read it straight up, I'll be stuttering and I can't get the words out, even though I can read it in my head, but between my brain and my mouth, it doesn't work. And I remember it was the first 15 minutes, the producer shoved like this Scoopler News in front of me and they're like, here you go, read it. And I was like, fuck, I can't read that. And live on air. And I remember I was like, Taylor Swift. And I was like, oh man, I still cringe thinking about that. I'm like, and I had to tell them afterwards, I'm like, I'm actually a bit dyslexic and I can't do that. So you need to tell me beforehand if you want me to read something live because it doesn't work. And I just remember at the time I could feel my body was like, heat was rising and I was going red and I was like, I'm doing this live on radio. People were already wanting me to fail and here I am stuttering through this. And I was like, oh man, this is a mess. But you know, I learnt a lot and I made great friends doing it. So
You and Rove formed a good friendship.
yeah, Rove's amazing. And throughout my entire career, Rove has always, and personal life as well, he's always checked in on me. He's always been such a dear friend to me and supportive and wise. And yeah, I just adore Rove more than anything in the world. I think he's one of the good ones.
He's a good human.
Yeah, he's the best.
Do you think you had PTSD from those experiences, those couple of years, despite the fact and, you know, acknowledging that it was really great, but also so traumatic at times?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think there is, for sure. Even everything that I do now, I'm always thinking, how is this going to backfire? And it makes me more apprehensive to take on opportunities, and it makes me second guess myself and my worth and my value. And I was already doing that before I had these job opportunities. So I think if anything, that all that criticism and all that noise, it was validating to my insecurities. Like I was going, yeah, well, I think that way about myself too. So I think that only fed into this negative loop, I think. And that's, yeah. And I think that I the same thing happened when I went on Home and Away. They're like, she's not an actor. And I was like, yeah, I know, but they've given me this opportunity. I'm going to try really hard. And yeah, so it does. And, so, you know, I've been offered, even the last few years, I've been offered a few like telly opportunities and things like that. And I've turned it down because I just get too scared now to do things. I get worried that, you know, people will mess with my mental health again and I don't want to do that again, you know? So if I do, next time I do something, I think I want it to be, we'll have to put up boundaries and, you know, maybe stay off social media or just block it all out and just focus on the job. But yeah.
Breaks my heart that, and I totally understand why, because I'm the same and I beat myself up internally all the time and we've spoken about that, and that internal dialogue in your head is so dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
But when everyone else is saying it too, then as you said, I've never thought about it that way, but it validates those feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just remember, like, I've always felt like I'm not good enough. I've always felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like I wasn't worthy of those opportunities. Like, I don't know why they offered them to me. I didn't see what I could, you know, give them either. So when they're feeding that information back to me, I was just like, yeah, I know. Yeah. But, you know, I'm going to try. That's all I can do. And, yeah. And then especially when the radio show got axed after 12 months, like that killed, because I was like, damn, I really wanted this to be successful, you know. I really wanted it. I wanted to prove to people that I was capable of doing this job. But instead people went, man, we told you it wasn't going to last and she wasn't very good. So anyway, that was a learning experience. What did Rove say?
He provided the support though, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he was amazing. He's just like, I can't actually, you know, that whole year was such a blur to me. I can't really remember. Like often memories will, like, you know, on your phone or whatever, memories will pop up. And I'm like, I don't even remember interviewing that person. I don't remember half of, more than, like I hardly remember doing that job. But I just remember, yeah, I found it quite difficult.
I'm sorry.
That's all.
And I know I added to it at times. Like there were times where I didn't take into account your internal stresses, but that's because
I was looking at industry as well.
Well, it's his industry. I'm like, I'm a journalist. She's on TV. I'm going to ask her what I need to ask her.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and I think but everyone was doing their job. And I get it, you know, and I get that the flashy headlines and the debate and the, you know, when people are debating over something, whether or not someone's worthy of a job or not, or whatever the criticism is, that creates engagement, that gives the newspapers and the media outlets, you know, better revenue and all the rest of it. So I get how the beast works. It's just like tough when you're in it. And I think, you know, and I was quite young then. I was 25 when I did that. So now I'm 35. So I think as a mature woman, you know, I think I would be as a mother, you know, I think I'd be able to handle it a bit better now. But I don't know. I say that, but I don't really know.
I normally start by asking about the podcast name being Mental as Anyone, and I just wonder what you think of the title and how you relate to that.
Well, I think it's brilliant. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, nice. I think it's fantastic. And I think one of the best things about doing a podcast like this is, you know, I think it's stripping back the layers of people and realizing that we're all the same. All of us are the same, and we all have mental health struggles. Well, I shouldn't say we all do, but a lot of people do have mental health struggles, and it's so normal. And I think we're coming a long way in terms of, you know, mental health awareness, but, you know, I still don't think people support people with mental health issues or illness very well at all. And you know, they have the campaigns Are You OK Day, and Are You OK Day bothers me, and it shouldn't, but it does, because I find companies, you know, I've been in workplaces and they've got the ask a mate if you're okay. And I'm like, you're turning a blind eye to bullying.
Yeah.
So how, just because you got a poster up doesn't mean you support mental illness and mental health issues.
What are you really doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like a poster or sharing a thing for Are You OK Day, doing a reel for Are You OK Day doesn't mean shit when you're not actually supporting people in the hard times, in the difficulties, because mental illness is hard, it's ugly, it's uncomfortable, and you can't say you support it if you turned a blind eye to it. Anyway, so I think these platforms are really important for people to relate, to connect, and also to hopefully give hope to people.
I've said that for a long time, is that I relate to what you're saying about Are You OK Day, but I also think it's great. Are you okay? Great question. Are you okay? But people need to be able to know what to do when someone says they're not okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you answer that? And what are the next steps? Asking are you okay is a surface level question, but then not being willing to hear the answer is really kind of pointless.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think there is the right information out there or support for people, for loved ones who have people going through difficult times. I don't think people really know what to do about it.
I'm really excited to share something very special with you. You know, I've always been open about my personal struggles, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And now I've put it all into my book, Mental as Anyone. It's raw, it's real, and full of the lessons I've learned, alongside some expert wisdom from Dr. Jodie Lowinger to help you navigate your own mental health journey. The book hits shelves in all good bookstores nationally on June 25, but you can pre-order it right now on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. This book means the absolute world to me. I hope it helps you too. There's a lot of people with good intent, and the conversation is very different to what it was. As I said, I'm old, so 26, 28, 30 years ago when I was visiting my mum in hospital and she was having electric convulsive therapy and things like that. There was no one to talk to. It was not a conversation. But so I feel like it is more, but I do feel like I suffer by people going, oh, he's just crazy, often.
Oh, it's wild.
They put it down to he's just mentally ill or he's just mentally unwell, so therefore that's his issue. Whereas really, no, you're just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, and people put it down as a personality trait. It's like, it's not a personality trait. It's a health issue, and you would take something else seriously. But when it comes to mental health, you just go, oh, yeah, she's a bit psycho. She's a bit crazy. And then they just go, that's just, and they put it as a personality trait. It's like, that's actually not who I am. It's something I'm going through and something that you're going through. And I think, I think that there's so much work that needs to be done in this space.
How is your mental health?
It's really good. At the moment, it's really good. I think being in a secure, healthy, positive relationship has been a game changer for me. And I wish I could say I did it all by myself, but I think having a loving partner is amazing. Like, you know, I used to think that chemistry was anxiety, and I would feel a lot of anxiety in relationships and stress, and it was awful. And I realized I was just feeding this loop of, you know, toxic rubbish. And then you meet someone who truly does love you so much and provides such a safe home and a secure relationship, and you just go, oh, this is amazing. And then being a mum, things go, it puts things into perspective for sure, because you just think, oh, wow, I've got to be the healthiest I can be for my son. And that's the most important thing.
Were you diagnosed with specific something? Because I know you've written the book Believe. You've you've got a whole bunch. You've done a lot of work. You've got your website. You do all that stuff. But I've been medicated for many, many years, and I have all sorts of diagnoses, but I don't even remember what they are because it's all just words to me.
Yeah. I haven't been diagnosed with anything specifically, but I've battled with depression my whole life, anxiety my whole life, and like, especially, you know, when I was younger, in my teenage years, no one talks about mental health. Like, people are talking about it now, but, you know, I think that when you're a teenager going through depression, I think it's confusing, and and you know, there wasn't any information about mental health or mental illness out there, so you just think something's wrong with your brain. I often would say I remember saying to my brother, I was like, I think something's wrong with my brain. But it was just because I just felt really depressed and have crazy suicidal thoughts, and that followed me forever. And then, yeah, it probably has been the last couple of years that I haven't felt like that anymore. But yeah, it's always, and it's. I mean, you would understand completely. And people that have struggled with depression, it's like a roller coaster. Just sometimes it just sneaks up on you, and then all of a sudden you're buried in this hole, and you're just like, I don't know how to get out of this again. And when you're in that hole, you don't think you are ever going to be okay again. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about talking about mental health issues and illness, because I want people to know that it does get better, and there is hope, and there is light, even though it doesn't feel like it. I know that feeling very well.
So what was your darkest times?
Oh man, I've had so many. I'd probably say I had a really bad patch. It was probably the worst one. I reckon I remember I was at home and away, and my heart's beating.
We don't have to go there, babe.
No, that's all right. I think it's important. Yeah, it was I was at home and away, and I can't remember the catalyst for it, but it's just one of those things when it just sweeps, you know, you try to bury it, keep busy, and then all of a sudden it just swallows you whole. But yeah, I was really bad. I had a really bad time then, and yeah, I remember I yeah.
It's tough. I remember reaching out to you around that time. I'm sure we used to message.
Yeah, you did. You've always reached out to me. You're such a beautiful friend. Yeah, there was one time I had enough, and I was tired. I was tired of feeling the pain all the time. But yeah, so I tried to do something very silly, and obviously it didn't work, thank goodness. And I just remember, I have to give a shout out to the beautiful Jake Ryan as well, who I worked with on Home and Away. Oh my gosh.
Gorgeous. What a sweetheart.
Oh, he's a grumpy old bugger sometimes, but he helped me through a really tricky time. And because at the time we were on-screen partners and you're working every day with someone. And so he can pick up on a mood so easily. And I remember I came back to work after I'd been to hospital and I hadn't been well at all. And he just carried me through that time massively. And he supported me and just was just like, yeah, he was amazing to me during that time. And I don't think I would have got through it because I had to show up at work and do scenes and pretend that you're all bubbly and happy. And you've got all this.
Learn lines. It's relentless. Like I've been on set there. I don't know how you do it, but it's relentless.
Yeah. And we had a really big storyline at the time. And and Jakey was just like, I've got you. I promise you I've got you. And we would run the scenes as many times as we needed to. And he just really supported me during that time. And I'll forever have, we're such good friends still. And I
like him a lot.
Yeah. Oh,
With
man.
that, look, pulling us out of that for a second, you're not, you're not on medication and things like that. But how did you get through those moments and that dark moment? Was it counselling, therapy? For me, I have an amazing GP, which I recommend to anyone, a GP that you can be really honest with. And when I'm feeling my worst, and it comes up, like it's happened recently, and I'll go to her and I'll say, hey, I'm not at my best right now. And she'll be like, okay, let's check in on all these points. One of those might be to see a counsellor. One of those might be to do, diet stuff and whatever else. Was it an ongoing therapy situation?
Yeah. I saw a psychologist constantly every week. And, she was amazing. It was really hard to pull myself through that. But yeah, I have a lot of my siblings are amazing.
Yeah.
And my brother flew up to Sydney and stayed with me and just, so having the support of my family, but mentally seeing a psychologist, I didn't take medication. And that's just a personal choice because I've seen
it just wasn't your thing for that time?
And so I just
and how did the therapy go?
Amazing. It changed my life. And that's why I would recommend to anyone to see a psychologist. And the only thing is it's so expensive. It's unbelievable.
Fuck.
I don't know, how do we change this?
I don't know. Like I recently was like, I can't afford to see a person each week at $300 or whatever. Because when I'm at my worst and I'm really down and really not, down's not trivializes it, but when I'm not in a good space, I might need to go once, maybe even twice a week. And if I'm doing that,
that's expensive. That's
$600 a week.
I know, and mortgage is going up, and rent's going up, and groceries are going up. And you're like, I did this. I got a mental health plan recently, and then I used my 10 things, and I was like, well, I can't afford to keep coming back to you. And I wish that it wasn't like that. And so many friends I would talk to, and they would say, oh, I'm having a bit of a tricky time. I'm feeling anxious or postnatal depression or whatever it is, and I would say, you see a psychologist, and they're like, I just can't afford it. And it's so people are sacrificing their mental health because
that's scary.
Isn't that scary? That's not okay.
That actually terrifies. I'm not going to the dentist at the moment because I can't afford it. I need to go and get my teeth cleaned, and I haven't had them cleaned this year.
Dentist is a rip-off. Those guys.
Yeah. I mean, it is a really good point that cost of living is impacting.
Yeah.
I'm angry about that. Are you angry about that?
I'm furious about that. Are you kidding me? I refuse to go to Woolworths because I'm just like, no. I go to Aldi, and then I go to the markets, and then if I have to, I'll go to the big supermarkets. But I'm like, you guys are upping your prices. You got a little team going. I don't know what's going on, but I don't like it one bit.
And if we don't get mental health right, then everything else falls over.
Exactly. Exactly. It affects your relationships. It affects your work. It affects
Other health issues.
physically. Absolutely. It's just a ripple effect of bad news. Sorry.
No,
It's
good.
true.
One of the things that I felt, I've been writing my book, I think I told you, and I'm
so excited about your book.
really excited about it. And I've been rereading it and just working through some of the chapters. And one of them was at a moment that I went through a suicide attempt, and I ended up in hospital, and they were pumping my stomach, and that charcoal is really shit. And I kind of put it to one side, but the judgment that I felt, and I love, like, our medical people are so amazing and they work their asses off and don't get paid enough, and nurses are so cool. But I remember being judged at that time for wasting my life. But the feeling internally was that I wasn't deserving of a life. It's just an interest, just a thought,
No.
But when you're in a space so vulnerable, being judged is not necessarily the best thing, or feeling judged is not a great thing.
Absolutely. I think your feeling is completely valid. And I think a lot of people would be able to relate, particularly when they're going through a difficult time. It might not be, like that. But I think that one of the things that people don't quite understand is when you're feeling like that, you feel like you're a burden. You feel like everyone else around you would be better off if you're not here.
Absolutely.
And that's how you feel. And so when you hear judgment, when you hear people say how selfish people are, even when they're depressed and they're isolating themselves, that selfish, she didn't come to my birthday. And you're just like, you have no idea what it feels like. And I guess I think one of the things that I really want to reiterate is that to anyone who's listening who might be feeling like that, is your feelings are valid. Of course, I understand how you're feeling, but it does pass. It does pass. And I cannot stress that enough.
I agree 100%. And I think some of the interesting things that you've done in your life to cope with the ongoing anxiety and depression that you feel, I mean, you've taken yourself off grid, so to speak. You live in Brisbane. You live a quieter life. You're not going to red carpet events. Very rarely do you. You still are in the media. You still do things, but you're not in the coalface, so to speak. That's a huge thing that you did to eliminate that level of stress. Going out bush, there's nothing more grounding than being in a caravan,
having no phone reception,
clearing the toilet out.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things I've done. And I have a healthier relationship with social media as well. I think I don't really use it. I use it to promote what I'm doing. I use it as a business tool. And I don't share as much as I used to, because I feel like my personal life, and particularly my son and my family and Geordie, my partner, like, yeah, we share some of our travels, but the real precious moments, I feel like my life's too precious, and I don't want you guys to ruin it for me. I don't want you guys it's so sacred to me. And that's a way of protecting my mental health. And so I think it's really, I come to Sydney, I'll go to Melbourne, I'll work for a couple of days, like do the glitzy thing, pop the makeup on. It's fun to do. I enjoy doing that sort of stuff. So, but then I go home to my dogs and my family, and my sister's just around the corner with my nieces. And I'm just like, this is amazing. This is the perfect balance. And I love that I've been able to figure that out. And your priorities change, Yeah, I don't particularly care for social media. It doesn't bother me that I'm not, everywhere, I couldn't care less.
It's a really good point. And I couldn't give a shit how many followers I have.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people buy them, but I couldn't care less.
No.
I get all these messages all the time saying, you need to have more followers. We'll help you build your following.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my followers are 12,000 people. That's how many follow me, and that's enough. That's how many are supposed to follow me then.
Yeah,
if
that's
more
right.
want to follow, then they will. If less want to follow, then they will do that too.
Yeah, I find it interesting because when you've been on home and away, like a lot of the other I shouldn't say a lot, but I've had conversations with some of the other cast members because you naturally decline when you're not doing things, and like who cares anyway. But I had a friend of mine who was freaking out about it. He's like, "What does this mean? What does this mean?" And I was like, "Mate, who gives a shit?" And I was like, "You're not on TV. You're not that character anymore. They don't care about it." And then they're like, well, "How do I get more? How do I get more?" And I'm like, "You're asking the wrong guy. I couldn't give a shit." But it's really interesting because you see people unraveling as that happens, and I'm just like,
people become addicted to it.
They do, but that's the way social media is designed. It's designed to mess with your mental health, I swear. And they want you hooked. They want you to get addicted to those likes, to those comments, to those followers, and then you become like, people think that people wrap their whole lives up in social media. And I'm like, there's a whole world out there. You can live a more peaceful life if you just turn your phone off. It's funny because I remember one time, like, I was copying it. I can't even remember now what for. Who knows? And I was like, it was the first time I went, I'll just turn my phone off. And I just turned my phone off and I was like, that's gone. It's gone. Like, it's so, you realize how irrelevant things are. And particularly social media. Like, people are always angry about something and everyone's like, oh my gosh. And you just go, and then you just delete the app and all of a sudden it's gone. And you're like, oh, and now I can breathe again. And the world's actually not as angry as you think it is when you're living in it.
It's such a toxic cesspool.
Isn't it? Mate.
What's the future look like?
Don't know. That's exciting, don't you think?
I
don't know what the future looks like. And yeah, I think I'll throw up once I
see what happens.
Once I see what happens. That doesn't even make sense. I'm very happy with my I like being at home with my baby at the moment. And then I think when I'm ready, I'll throw myself back into work because I do like working. I like being creative. I like having an outlet. I like connecting with people, and I think that's fun. But yeah, when the time's right, I'll work again. I don't know what that looks like. But in the meantime, we'll travel and go caravanning and check out the cool parts of Australia.
She's a simple gal.
I'm a simple gal, you know what I mean?
I finish off each episode by asking on a scale of 0 to 10 how you are today, right now. Bearing in mind you've got a funeral this week, so
yes.
The back of your mind, that's pretty shit. But taking that out of the equation, how are you on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being extraordinary and 0 being fucked?
I reckon I'm about 8. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Chipper.
Yeah. I can't really complain, hey? Yeah, I got a beautiful little son. He makes me so, like, how can you, sometimes I think I'm having a bad day. I look at his cute head and I'm just like, oh my gosh, he thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world.
If anyone else doesn't like you, at least you got him.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good today.
0 to 10.
I'm probably, today, right this second, I'm probably an 8 as well. But a couple of days ago, I was probably like a 5.
Yeah.
I oscillate like massively.
Yeah.
But no, I'm good. I'm feeling good. Christmas, life, family, all of those things. We've got them all happening. And so, yeah. That's exciting. I'm happy.
Good.
Sam Frost, you bloody legend. Thank you for coming on here.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing and being so open and raw on mental as anyone.
Thank you so much for having me.
This episode is supported by Chemist Warehouse, Australia's leader in health and wellness products. Whether you're looking for natural supplements, fitness essentials, or everyday healthcare, Chemist Warehouse has you covered at unbeatable prices. They're proud to support this podcast and help you take control of your health and well-being. Head to chemistwarehouse.com.au for the best selection of vitamins, wellness products, and more to keep you feeling your best. BYD has taken it to the next level with the all-electric Sea Lion 7, a performance SUV that's as sleek as it is powerful. We're talking quiet luxury, up to 482 kilometres of range, and a 0 to 100 kilometres per hour in just 4.5 seconds. It's smooth, it's fast, and honestly, sustainability has never looked this good. With 4 luxe colours, including the stunning Shark Grey, this is EV driving elevated. If you're even a little bit curious, check out the links in the show notes. Big thanks to BYD for making this podcast possible. I know firsthand how overwhelming life can get, and I also know how powerful it is when you have the right tools to get you through it. That's why I've written Mental as Anyone, a book filled with real stories, practical strategies, and expert insights to help you manage stress, anxiety, and everything life throws your way. With clinical psychologist Dr. Jodie Lowinger providing her professional insights. It'll be on shelves in all good bookstores nationally on June 25, but you can pre-order it right now on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. If you've ever felt like you're struggling alone, this book is for you.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Mental as Anyone. There's been some heavy insights in there, but also some useful tools for all of us to move forward. If you want to be the first to hear new episodes, be sure to hit follow. And if you find yourself in need of support, links to Lifeline, Beyond Blue, and the Black Dog Institute are in the show notes below. See you later.